So, I made a review a while back on an episode from Trolls The Beat Goes On that I didn't like, Creek Week. Seeing how it's being received now made me decide to do this video and write this script. Comment-wise, I was okay and people could understand where I was coming from. Regardless, I'm going to explain to the best of my abilities in a more calm, less dark way why I dislike this episode a lot. First, it uses dialogue that is downright redundant, because it repeats information that Trolls fans will already know. That Creek betrayed everyone by nearly feeding everyone to the Bergens to save his own skin. I know this information. I do not need to be told this information again. Next, its lack of humor. While it does use some slapstick humor with the traps and sight gags with Cooper's yoga teaching and Poppy's singing habits that she needs to control, there's no real humor to make us laugh. Third, Creek's stupid apology. The point of an apology is not to just say, "I'm sorry," and expect people to immediately forgive you. It's about actually proving that you want to get better and that you're actually sorry. Isn't that right, YouTubers that do a lot of apology videos? And no, Creek, saying you're lonely does not deserve any kind of sympathy, or even empathy, especially when you almost killed everyone in your entire village and your entire pop tribe to save your own skin. And yes, I know that Creek is technically an ally antagonist, which is a friend or ally who betrays or makes a bad choice, becoming an opponent. However, this doesn't make his actions justified, and he's still an a-hole for doing this. Despite knowing that he was traitorous, and he could have still had his sketchy moments where he's being deceitful or lying, and he shouldn't be trusted entirely, the gang brings him back in simply because he's saying he's sorry, which gives off the implication that we don't care if he did something extremely horrible almost. He gets off scot-free or there's no penalties. How can you really tell he's sorry just from words if he was willing to sell you out? That's the thing. Also, unfortunate implication number 1. Saying I'm sorry doesn't always guarantee forgiveness, but if you say I'm very sorry, you're absolutely guaranteed forgiveness, just like that. Also, unfortunate implication number 2, saying that we all make mistakes, and even if they are huge mistakes, the best possible option is to let go of anger and forgive it. Otherwise, you'll end up with no one. Sometimes people do not forgive the things that people have done, especially when it's changed your life forever, or it was something so horrible that it wasn't worth forgiving, and all they'd want is some form of justice or even punishment. Next, the pacing can be slow at specific times, which can make you feel bored or feel like things are going by at a snail's pace. Since there's a lot of drama in the story, some scenes drag and can become a slog to watch. Since there's not a lot of humor, it'll feel like you're watching stuff that's pointless. Like how Branch tries to incriminate Creek with stealing a muffin basket, only for it to turn out okay in Poppy's eyes, despite her not knowing who even placed the muffin basket there. It seems like something that could have been cut. Also, who also thinks that Creek and Poppy booping noses is clearly a nod to the first movie? Moving forward, unfortunate implication number 3, putting yourself or others in danger to prove a point. Branch tries to incriminate that Creek is a coward and truly hasn't changed by putting himself in danger. Also, why doesn't anyone else try to save him? Why does it have to be Creek that saves him? It feels like a stupid plot device. Onward, Creek acts like he can never prove himself and stuff like that. Here's the thing. I would feel bad for him if he has shown throughout the episode that he has changed. This episode could have done much more and showed some specific deeds that would make him believably convince the audience that he has changed, but still have it be believable to where Branch still suspects something out of Creek. This is what a good writer would have done with the 13 minutes they're given. I'm not saying Julia here is a bad writer, I'm just saying that she could have done this and the episode would have had a better structure. Otherwise, it feels like you gave us nothing, and we're just supposed to feel bad for Creek and think Branch is the bad guy, which is not what you're conveying right now. I would also supposedly feel bad for Creek if the others laughed at him or betrayed him, while Branch felt bad because he realized that this didn't feel right. Again, another good writing choice that the writer could have taken. Otherwise, that comes off as being pissed off at Branch for the sole fact that he did one thing wrong, and it wasn't even a bad thing. Not as bad as what Creek tried and failed to do. Next, Poppy and the others complain this.
Branch, we already knew Creek had weaknesses and we were trying to accept him anyway.
No, you don't get to complain about this, especially because you all forgave him when he said, "I'm very sorry," acting like you were just going to forget all about those moments where he almost killed you all. You claim you were trying to accept him anyway, yet you take no precautions in case he lies again, betrays you again, or does something horrible again. The trolls are positive party people, not stupid.
The only person you exposed here is yourself.
Just asking, Poppy, but couldn't Branch easily just say, okay, I was wrong, and walk away, knowing that he messed up? Also, this is stupid. Remember what you said? If you don't let go of anger and forgive, you'll wind up all alone. Well, one, he wasn't doing this out of anger. He did it out of suspicion. And two, that entire message should pertain to them figuring out how to forgive them on their own as well. Not telling them that they screwed something up and that's what motivates them to feel horrible and want to apologize.
Okay, well, I'm sorry.
Based on his eyes, his tone of voice, and his body language, you can tell he clearly means it. And yeah, I know you guys could tell me, well, Creek is clearly doing the same thing. See, Creek was a known person to have sold everyone out. How could anyone trust him if his actions could have led everyone to ruin? Branch, on the other hand, has no cases to where he's untrustworthy.
Don't apologize to us. Apologize to Creek. He could have gotten hurt.
Wow. That line mystifies me on so many levels. First off, I'd believe that line if Creek actually did anything. He never stepped into the water. If he stepped into the water and actually risked his life and health, then sure, I'd believe this. But he didn't. Also, Creek could have literally saved Branch with his hair and he wouldn't have had to step into the water. There are so many different ways that this could have been prevented and Creek would have proven his defense. Also, you guys pay more attention to how Creek could have gotten hurt when he didn't step in the water and risk anything, while Branch actually could have been hurt if his plan went wrong. He could have fallen off the waterfall and gotten hurt somehow. And finally, 3, and this is the most important one, it makes you all look like hypocrites. Or at the very least, makes it feel like you all have an ass-backwards way of thinking. For someone like Creek, who almost killed us because of his bad choices and actions, to be forgiven, all they have to do is say, I'm very sorry, and all will be forgiven. And well, with someone like Branch, who has saved you all, brought your colors back, and is extremely trustworthy and even brutally honest, would have to prove everything and get the treatment that a person who is like Creek would normally get. Instead of Creek wanting to simply put everything behind and move on like he would typically want, he instead slaps Branch twice to show that he's still angry. Yeah, well, you slapped him twice, guy. I'd be pissed if someone slapped me twice and got no repercussions. Yeah, Creek doesn't get repercussions. Creek also goes on to say that not only does Branch have to apologize to him in front of the village, he goes on to say that he has to sing a song extolling his many, many virtues. I'm not explaining this to make Creek look more like an a-hole. These are the exact words. As in, he doesn't give a shit about putting these behind. His care is towards his reputation. Also, if the person being apologized to wrote the apology, it will not feel genuine. Branch obviously declines because of the ridiculous amount of requests in regards to the apology. When he goes back into his bunker, he instantly sees pictures of Poppy in the snack pack while melancholy music plays in the background. This is manipulative and doesn't come across as, aw, he really does care about his friends and how they've changed his life. No, it comes across as, aw, see how happy he was with his friends. Well, because his friends made a terrible decision, he may never see them again, talk to them again, anything. This was how it used to be, and because of where things are, it may never go back to the happy times. Now suffer with it. Deal with it. Also, notice how Branch almost cries at one point, but doesn't. He feels awful being isolated again. Hence why Poppy and the Snack Pack's decision was a horrendous one. Sure, Branch isn't perfect, and he still had to grow in this stage. But he did not deserve to be isolated and heckled for something that could have been a simple fix.
You're not going to celebrate with your boy Creek?
He can be a bit much.
Then why? Why did you support him? Why did you ostracize Branch with your terrible decision? I wonder what would have happened if Branch told her all about how he felt down in the bunker. It was awful, Poppy. I almost cried and thought about losing my colors. Oh, Branch, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to make you feel like that. The party player Preston, the man of predictions and parties.
Which actually makes what you did all the more beautiful, Branch.
Yeah, Branch absolutely needed to learn this lesson, and his actions needed to be complimented. I swear, if it weren't for the cute Broppy moment, this ending would have been a slap in the face. And that's all the main points, as well as, I guess, an episode recap explaining why I do not like this episode. It's not like I didn't want to like this episode. I gave it so many chances, but in the end, I couldn't like it for its unfortunate implications and mean-spirited nature, as well as stupid character decisions. This episode makes me angry, but my response to it back then was not the best, as it feels like I focused more on my anger rather than on my actual criticism, as well as the fact that I dedicated a good portion of it to talking about depression and suicide, making it a bit dark. The main reason I talked about that is because that's what being ostracized can lead to in real life, if you're not careful or you're especially harsh. Every other review has been good, receiving, but this one got a bit of backlash. I was debating on whether I should delete it and simply upload it to Instagram, but I guess I refrained because one of my thumbnail designers said this cured her of her depression or made her fight better, and so many people were still agreeing and understand where I came from in regards to all my points. They even sympathized with me, and Karina even gave me a cookie. This is still a terrible episode, and I will never like it, but I think you guys deserved a better way of dealing with the episode. The original video is still up, but it really depends on all of your support and likes toward the original video and this one to determine whether I should keep the original or not. Anyway, I hope that cleared things up, and next I'll do a redo on New Anthem.